Hello and welcome to FS Podcasts. We're a student initiative at Frankfurt School of Finance and Management, which resides in Frankfurt, Germany. And what we do is we speak on various diverse topics and we bring experts to give their insights and experiences.
Hi, this is Danny Bostetter.
Hi, this is Mattia.
And welcome to the FS Podcast. We're here with Jonathan Laguerre at Wharton Business School, Pennsylvania. Yeah, we're kind of moving away a little bit from Frankfurt for just a short stint here. But welcome, Jonathan. It's good to have you, and thanks to be here for you.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me today.
Yeah, could you maybe introduce yourself to our audience? What do you do? Where do you come from?
Absolutely. So I grew up in Haiti, spent the first 17 years of my life there. And after the earthquake that struck the country in 2010, I moved to the U.S. and I was fortunate enough to enroll at Stony Brook University, where I majored in computer science and applied math. And after graduation, I was eager to work in financial services. So I took an opportunity at JP Morgan Chase and their credit e-trading group and worked there for 2 years as an analyst, and moved to Bank of America Merrill Lynch after that and worked for 1 year there. And throughout my time there, I decided that I wanted to make a switch in my career and decided to enroll at the Wharton School of Business. And here I am today.
Amazing. And how was the process for you to leave Haiti behind, and how did you enroll into university in the U.S.?
So it was tough, because it happened in a couple of days, Mm-hmm. So the earthquake struck the country in January, and at that time I think I was a junior in high school. So, and I had to leave my family behind right after the earthquake hit. So my parents had to make a decision and decide whether we were going to go to school or whether we were going to leave the country because our school was destroyed too. So the transition to come here was tricky because coming here, not being able to understand all the nuances and capture the nuances of the culture, it was a bit of a cultural shock too, because you're coming in an environment where you left all your friends and family behind and you need to start all over again, and not having had the ability or the experience to do so in the past. It was the first time for me, so
no safety net whatsoever.
Exactly. So it was. I think that was the tricky part, but I think the good thing was that I was very young. I was only 17 years old, so I was quickly able to adapt to the culture and learn how to navigate myself around the system. And
apparently, we're very well.
Thank you. So I was able to learn that and then quickly enroll at Stony Brook University, where I was able to learn all these things and meet different people, and then use that as a trampoline to go into financial services too. So I think it was a tricky experience. I learned a lot. It was very challenging, but I actually adapt to it because I was very young, and I was able, and I had a lot of people too who were able to mentor me and guide me throughout the process. So I think it was not the best experience, but actually I grew from it.
Oh, so you had mentors during this process, right?
Actually, okay, so I had mentors after I enrolled at Stony Brook University.
Okay.
But going into Stony Brook University, I actually had to go ahead and figure it out on my own. Mm-hmm. And thankfully, I had my brother who was already a senior in Haiti, and he got his acceptance at Boston College. So I was able to look up to him and use him as a resource to apply to Stony Brook University. Then after that, I met a lot of people, and people were able to help out a lot too. So I think that's one of the good things I'll always be grateful of for the United States, for the U.S.
And do you believe that this kind of mentorship is kind of essential for someone wanting to study abroad or wanting to improve in life or professional?
I think it's critical. It's essential for someone to progress in his career in life. I think one thing that life taught me going to school at Wharton, working as at JP Morgan and Bank of America, is that people actually progress in their career and their life. They grow up personally or professionally with the mentorship of people around them that they look up to. And what I mean by that is, whether you're at JP Morgan today, whether you're in school, you want to go in medicine, or you want to break into the medical or the healthcare space,
Right.
I think it's critical for you to look for a mentor who actually did what you're looking to do, and try to have him advise you and being able to open doors and vouch for you for whatever you want to do. I think that's very important in life, and especially in the corporate world.
Well, it's really nice to have a mentor, but there's also the other side. And did you actually mentored anybody before?
I did so.
We did see on your CV that you were a mentor for education in Haiti.
Yeah,
right?
so I think I didn't mention that when I was talking about myself. I think one of the things I was a mentor for I founded Education Haiti and was a mentor in Education Haiti.
Oh.
And it's an organization, so it's my experience coming into the US and not having the ability to find mentors. I was looking for people to help out until I came to Stony Brook. From the point where I left to Stony Brook University, I didn't really have any mentors. And it was very hard for me to understand how to navigate the application process in the US, how to take an SAT, how to get my transcript, how to translate everything. So around that time in my senior year at Stony Brook University, me and a couple of friends, we decided to create that organization that could help Haitian students who aspire to come in the U.S. and offering them resources and mentorship so they can come here and come in the U.S. So I've mentored a couple of students in the high school that I went to in Haiti. I've had great experiences mentoring them. We've had great success stories. It's been phenomenal. I learn a lot from them the same way they learn a lot from me.
I've heard that a lot.
Yeah.
The mentor learns just as much from the mentee.
Yeah. I actually learn a lot in terms of how things are going right now in that high school. I heard that a lot has changed, and if to stay in contact with people back home too. I mean, understand what exactly is going on the educational space from the school that I went to, which is something that I'm also passionate about, education.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. It's great to stay in touch with them and keep learning on a day-to-day basis what's going on in that space, and also the high school that I went to. So.
Yeah, does it when you look at the people that you're mentoring, you can see them develop, and does it make you want to push yourself even more? You see that development happen for someone that looks up to you, and it makes you think, wow, I can apply these things to myself as well.
Or they catch up to you, and then
they become better in it.
But that's the dream right there.
Yeah, pass as a teacher,
But yeah, I think that's the best part of mentorship. Honestly, it's being able to see someone who you used to mentor or talk or provide resources to, who used to stress about a specific process, you seeing how this person grows and professionally and personally and become that individual that he is today, or he or she is today. So I think that's the best part of mentorship, and you actually learn a lot from them, and naturally that pushes you to do better too.
Yeah.
As you mentioned. So I think that's the best part of mentorship.
So you're bringing this program back into Haiti, and you're helping out other Haitians, and that's wonderful. But did you ever wonder what would have happened if you had just ended up staying in Haiti? There was no earthquake. What would it have been like?
What would have? So to be honest, I never thought about that, because the goal was always to leave and go to the U.S. at some point,
mm-hmm.
because.
Just not as abruptly as it happened.
Yeah, it's just that it happened a year earlier for me.
Mm-hmm.
My brother, he was ready to graduate and leave, but I was in my junior year, so I was not planning on applying for college.
Yeah.
I was just a kid having fun in high school.
You got one more year to go.
Yeah. So I think, so I was not really thinking about that, but if I do think about it right now, if I were in Haiti, if I didn't go to the U.S., I don't think I would be working in financial services. I'll probably be a doctor or a lawyer, because
mm-hmm.
I think that's what our parents teach us in Haiti, and especially in developing countries. I think the norm for people going to universities, which is a bit sad, and that's something that we're trying to communicate to our students throughout education in Haiti as well, is that there are many other fields out there that are as great and sexy as doctor or lawyer, and even better.
It's kind of funny because, I mean, my dad's a lawyer and my mother's a doctor. And so I always grew up like it was either, you're going to law school or you're going to medical school.
Exactly.
I mean, I actually took my MCATs and I was like all straight for going. And I decided last minute, I need to see some of the world. And if I do this, I'm going to be stuck in Texas for the rest of my life. And I'm so glad that I decided to make that move, because you really do. You move to another country and you don't know anything about the place, and it changes you. And it's always in a good way. Like, I mean, I obviously there's some situations where maybe it's not so great, but I always found the best way to make, the best of what was happening to me. And obviously you were able to do the same thing. You were succeeding in New York. So tell us a little about first transitioning, after Stony Brook, and you're moving into the financial sector. Like, how was that?
It was amazing.
Yeah.
So I was extremely excited. So if you want to hear about it, so after I graduated, I went to Haiti, taught a computer science class, taught young students from the high school that I graduated in how to code. I wanted to do that before starting my new job, and moved to New York in July after my summer, and started my new job at JP Morgan. It was great. So
how was the environment there? When you're first starting out at JP Morgan, I mean, we hear stories.
Oh, it's nice.
The first day is amazing. Everybody's smiling.
Yeah,
it was amazing. I remember it was great. I think we had a 8 to 10 weeks training, because they have to teach you. You have to go through like markets. You have to take series exams. They have to prep you. You have to. They try to teach you a lot of stuff on leadership, and then after that, I started the new job around September. Around September. Yes, I started in September, exactly. So how was that? It was great. I remember when I first walked into the floor, my boss picked me up from the elevator. He said, "You Jonathan, right?" Because I was going into a new team, and the guy was going to be my boss. And then he says, I said, "Yeah, I'm Jonathan." And after that, he walked me into the floor, and he was introducing me to people. And I remember this guy. He was on the risk team, and he said, "We're here. We only work. We don't play. We only work." I was like, "Whoa, okay."
Kind of killed your enthusiasm.
Yeah. The environment was so I'll talk a little bit about the culture. It was very intense, where you're around people who are trying to do great and trying to bring their A game every day to work. So it's a very competitive environment where you have to perform at your best on a day-to-day basis. I quickly learned that when I walked into the floor, and I think I had the mentorship and help of my boss too when I joined, and he was able to teach me a lot on the job when I was at the desk as well. So I think they teach you the fundamentals of what the business is about 8 weeks before you start the job, but you'll learn you'll learn most of the job while doing it.
While doing the job, yeah.
And by sitting right by your boss and the people you're going to be reporting to, and they're able to communicate and doing some knowledge transfer on a day-to-day basis to you as an
Learning
analyst.
by doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that's what I walked into after graduating Stony Brook.
Was it a bit stressful at first, or did you eventually fall into some kind of groove where you're still doing your best, but it's not as hard to do your best at this point?
I mean, it was stressful. I think any Wall Street job is stressful. I think walking into it, not knowing exactly what to expect, was a bit of a stress too, if you can put it that way. But as you keep doing it on a daily, weekly basis, and you learn how to do your job and get better at it, after 6 months or 1 year, you become a pro at what you're doing. It's you'll get stressed in certain scenarios, but you'll be more mature, and you'll be able to deal with certain situations in a more mature and better way than you used to when I first started the job. So I think I think what I was dealing with is, in terms of stress, is something that all analysts faced. But after a couple of months and after a year, I was quickly able to grow up and be mature at what I was doing.
Okay. But how does one cope with the stress? I mean, a lot of times, I think a lot of finance students are dreaming about Wallstreet. You know, it's such a magical place in a way, and it's like, heaven, and you just can't wait to go through those doors. But it's a very, very stressful job.
It is a very stressful job. Sorry, because if you think about it, you have to deliver for your clients on a daily basis. You have to. There are a lot of competitors out there who are doing exactly what you're doing. So you need to bring something fresh and new to the business to have some type of advantage. So they expect a lot from you coming into a team. In terms of, so the second part of your question, it was a lot of international want to aspire to come to Wallstreet.
Yeah.
So I think Wallstreet will always be an exciting place to work. You actually grow a lot intellectually by working in a Wall Street firm, especially a big bank. You actually learn a lot, and you'll be faced with so many different situations and learn how to navigate so many different obstacles that you'll be in shape for any finance job that you want to work in after that. So I think it's still going to be an amazing place to go to. I think for some people it's good. For some people it's not a good place to work. I think it depends on your personality and what you're looking for. But I think it's always going to be an amazing, exciting place to work in.
And how much of this was due to the fact that you had such a background in coding and computer science? How much did that play into the financial sector for you? I mean, like you were doing your job and you're doing it well, but you also have this extra knowledge on the side. Is that part of why you think you were able to succeed? I mean, do you feel as if you could focus on finance, but did computer science also play a huge role for you?
I think it did, because the group that I was in, so electronic trading on the fixed income side of the business, what we were doing is building algorithms and platforms that were executing trades on the market for us, and having that computer science mindset and that background was extremely useful in terms of translating a lot of technical specs and building these algorithms that we were gonna use and execute to execute trades for our clients from. So if you look at most of the quant teams on Wall Street across banks, most of them were half of the people have finance backgrounds, half of the other half are computer scientists or PhDs who have deep understanding of computer science or supercomputing. And I think, to answer your question, it was very useful and critical for me coming into a technology-driven group in the business, and working alongside a lot of technologists as well, if you can put it that way, because a lot of the people understood the business, understood what needed to be implemented, and had some strong background about supercomputer science or technical fields, so they can go ahead and implement whatever they need to implement, so we can build or add into that platform.
Okay.
And for you, it proved like more to be an extra knowledge, and currently we're always talking about knowledge of mathematics, applied math, computer science as let's say an extra. But do you think that in upcoming years it's becoming essential knowledge to walk into Wallstreet, or how do you think it's going to move? I think
computer science is going to be more and more of an important skill set to have on Wall Street if you're going to be working on the trading side, on the market side, where most transactions will be automated at some point, But I think I've seen a lot of people from finance background come in and excel at their job, because, as mentioned, it's an apprenticeship business where you actually learn on the job and by doing. A lot of people who aspire to be electronic traders, some of them come from finance background, some of them even come from English background, and were able to learn and grow in the world that they were in a short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're looking at it from a futuristic standpoint and what skill set is going to be most useful on Wall Street down the road, on the market side, I would say technology, math, and if also computer science, data scientists, if you can put it that way. Because the business is going to be automated. It's quickly being automated and it's going to keep going that way from what I've seen.
And this is affecting more than just transactions. This is also applying to the evolution of how we tackle M&A, isn't it?
If we look at M&A for now,
mm-hmm.
it's one of the very few business on Wall Street that hasn't been disrupted by technology.
Right.
But there are some banks out there that already said that they have algorithms that are able to quickly execute an M&A or an IPO, or they're working on a process that
right.
can actually do exactly what humans are doing in terms of an M&A or an IPO.
So it hasn't been disrupted yet, but it's about to be.
So it's about to be. It's about to be. But a lot of people in M&A think that it's very touchy business. It is a touchy business.
Mm-hmm.
It's very highly strategic. But if we do think about it, it's transactional too. So you're executing transactions for large corporations, and at the minute you can find an algorithm or you can build something that's doing exactly what a human is doing,
mm-hmm.
and following all the different steps that needs to be done when executing an M&A, it's possible to replace it by human.
And do you think with this rise of technology, and I mean, we currently even see a decrease in some departments. Some departments are not even employing that much
mm-hmm.
anymore. How do you see Wall Street in the next 10, 15 years? How much of an impact is technology going to have in, let's say, shrinking how much people you need for a department?
I mean, we can, for that, I don't know, I don't have an exact number in mind, but I can tell you that a lot of the processes will be automated. We've seen that happen on the trading side of the business. We've seen that happen on the back office as well. And we're going to continue seeing we're going to continue seeing technology being applied to all of the processes that we do to gain or do business with our with the clients. So moving down the road 10 to 15, 20 years down the road, I think that a lot of jobs will be replaced, but a lot of jobs will be created as well. So I like to see it that way. A lot of people say that you're coming up with a computer, you're coming up with a technology replacing people. Yes, but there are a lot of jobs that come up, and there are a lot of new skills, a set of new skill set that will be required to do these jobs as well. So I think it's a win-win situation for both the business and the people who aspire to come to Wall Street, the young people who aspire to come to Wall Street down the road, because you have a set of new skill set that you can learn and pick up to be able to do these new jobs that are going to be more intellectually stimulating and challenging than the traditional Wall Street job that were out there back in the days. So I don't want to say that people are going to be replaced at 100%. Some people will be replaced. It's not only Wall Street, it's all industries, but there are going to be new jobs that are going to be created, and they're going to need new people to actually do them. They're just going to require a different type of skill.
Yeah, it's the price of progress. I mean, we're going to have more. I mean, yeah, people are going to have to drop out of certain sectors, but they're going to be able to move into others. And we're going to be creating just as many jobs at this point.
Yeah.
Automation does not mean that that humans are going by the wayside. It just means that new opportunities are presenting themselves.
Yeah.
The traditional way is changing. I mean,
yeah.
What students are doing now, or what you did, and the path that you usually had to Wall Street, I think is going to completely change.
Yeah.
And what would, in terms of the changing environment, would be advice to upcoming students and people that want to see themselves in Wall Street in 5-10 years? What do you think would be the best advice for them?
I would say keep reading a lot about what's happening in the world. I think I think Wall Street is that big place where you work. You need to understand all the trends happening in the global economy, and also if you can pick up some basic computer science. If you can take some basic computer science class and understand what AI, robotics, machine learning is about, that would be good too. You don't need to be the one coding it, but if you want to if you want to be in a very trading type of role, being able to articulate clearly what the technology is about and is going to be critical whenever you're going to be working with technologies and building these platforms. And if you're able to understand the business and have some basic and great understanding of technology as well, and be the one driving the process and the implementation, I think you're in a very good position.
And so, moving forward from Wallstreet, I mean, you're at Wharton here now. Like, what made you want to make that jump and come back into education?
So I'm not going back to education. Oh, sorry, I thought you meant.
Oh yeah, no.
Work in
education. No, I mean come back to school.
So I think I always aspired to go to business school.
Yeah.
A lot of the people I looked up to at MBAs.
Mm-hmm.
So even before coming to undergrad, I was like, I want to go to business school. But I think the determining factor to quit my job and go to business school was I felt like I wanted to challenge myself and grow personally, professionally, build more leadership skills that I would have not built on the job that I was in. At the pace that I wanted to.
Wallstreet, so you want to come and give yourself a new challenge, right?
So I think you learn a lot. You grow a lot. You grow a lot personally in business school.
Mm-hmm.
You develop a lot of leadership skills. You have the ability to learn a little bit from everything. If you think about it, marketing, finance,
different fields.
Yes, different fields, and make a transition in my career, and also grow my network, grow my professional network. So I think one thing about going into at Stony Brook is that a lot of the friends that I've worked in, I was a software engineer, I was a computer scientist, so they work in technology. And coming into business school, I wanted to be around. I was always around engineers in a lab when I was in undergrad.
Mm-hmm.
So it's only when I went to JP Morgan and Bank of America that I was put in a business setting where I had to actually work with different types of people and be challenged on problems that were not too engineering focused.
Right.
So to get to it, business school. I think business school was a place for me to go ahead, learn a little bit about everything, grow my network of friends, being able to pivot into any career that I wanted to pivot in terms of business after I graduate,
right?
And learn as much as my class, learn as much from my professor and the courses that I'm going to be in, and learn a lot from the classmates and the friends that I'm going to be meeting throughout the entire program as well.
And so far, do you feel yourself getting more versatile after spending a little bit of time here, meeting new people, and there's a lot of different personalities out there that you see.
It is, but it's a representation of the real world.
Yeah,
because you do see a lot in business school, and I think living in New York City, in a huge city, living in a place such as New York City. It's not a new thing. It was not a new thing for me when I came to business school because I saw everything.
Yeah,
all kinds of personality in New York City.
New York City, you see everything.
I think, but I do like that. I like to be in a very diverse place where I get to know and talk with all types of people, learn from people from all types of backgrounds, and hear about people's story. I think that's very exciting. That's also a great thing about business school, and you get to know these people at a deeper and more personal level too, because they're gonna be your classmates. But when you're in the outside world, someone can tell you, "Hey, I'm from this place," and the next day you never hear from him for the rest of their life. So I think that's also an exciting part of business school. So being able to connect with all types of people that I would have never been friends with, because I would never be in a position or in a setting where I would be actually connecting with certain types of people. So I think
completely
business school is, I think that's one of the best things in business school. I'm learning from someone else every day.
Mm-hmm.
And what for you would be some things that kind of succeeded the expectations, went above the expectations you had from a business school, and some things that you were negatively surprised at?
I would say some things are in general.
In general, like
I think in general it exceeded my expectations. I think it's everything I ever imagined in terms of an experience for business school, and I actually discovered a lot of things that I was not even thinking about even coming in business school, you know. So I think in general I'm having a great time there, and it's very unfortunate that I'm about to finish my first year and graduate next year.
You wish it would be longer.
I wish it would be longer.
Yeah,
but
it seems fun here.
yeah, it's very fun. So I think in terms of expectations, I'm really it exceeds my expectations, and I'm having a great time there.
So for any international students anywhere else, do you recommend that maybe they come to Wharton Business School here? Is this a place that you think would be like a great situation for an international or?
I think Wharton is. I don't want to be. I'm not biased. I think it's by far the best business school that you can enroll in. And why do I say that? If you're trying to find balance, you have everything here. It's a mix of rigorous curriculum. If you're looking for academics, it has a rigorous curriculum. If you're looking for a diverse class, we have people coming from everywhere in the world in the class. 890 people. I don't think there are other schools. I mean, there are other top schools out there that have that many people, but they won't have that balance that Wharton offers you. And if you talk about being in a place where you're gonna be challenged to lead or do anything you want and partner with the school to have all the resources that you need to have in order to accomplish what you want, I think is the best place. As an example, in November, I wanted to bring a lot of my classmates back home in Haiti, and I was able to lead a trek.
Yeah.
And 25 of the people in my school were able to go to Haiti and visit the country. And it was just amazing to see how many people are interested to see
more of the world.
Exactly. And so if you're interested to socializing, you'll be able to do that here and excel and do good enough at school, you know. So I think it offers everything you need. You just need to pick exactly what you want to focus on during your business school years, as opposed to the other top schools where they say, hey, you come here, it's going to be very academic. So I'm not giving any names, but I'm saying that Wharton is by far the best school that you can go to. And if any international students aspire to come to Wharton, I'll tell you, don't even hesitate, apply.
Which was the hardest process for you, coming to US for your bachelor's or now applying for MBAs?
Apply for MBA. Wharton, because I was working as a professional, you have to take the GMAT. And business school can be very competitive. Because and what I mean by that is you have to, it's not just an application that you're submitting, but you have to visit the school and make sure that some of the students might be vouching for you and some of the people in these schools. It's not just an application that you submitted right there, and you need to go ahead, interview people, know exactly what they're looking for, understand the culture of the school, what type of students are there, and understand whether it's a good match for you in order to craft your essays. So that process to apply for business school requires a lot of time and effort. It's not I wake up, I just write an essay and I submit it to Wharton and I hope to get an interview. So that's an undergrad. You just wake up, you just write an essay about yourself. You talk about some leadership stuff that you've done, and you hope to get accepted. But it doesn't work like that in business school.
Proactive process.
Exactly. You have to get to know the people. You have to understand what the school is about, because each top MBA each MBA program is different, and not all of them are looking for the same type of candidates. You know, so I think that process was very long and a lot of interaction and a lot of talk with different people from all types of schools to understand exactly where exactly I'll fit in the most and where I'll have the best experience. So I think because of that, it was more painful than applying to
Painful but worth it.
Yeah. So, but it was good. At the end of the day, it's a process, so I enjoyed it. You get to meet a lot of people by doing all these school visits, and it was good at the end of the day, and it paid off too. Yeah.
Definitely enjoying it. And so now you're at Wharton. You have one more year to go. What are the plans after? Back to Wallstreet? You're kind of resistant to it. What's next?
I mean, I think I'm keeping my options open.
Okay.
There are a lot of great fields out there, or different industries or companies out there that I'm looking into. Financial technology is being one of them. I'm gonna be at a financial technology company over the summer in the Bay Area, working as an intern. But on the grand scheme of things, after business school, where exactly I'm gonna be at, whether it's Wallstreet, whether it's in financial technology or consulting, I'm not too sure. I haven't thought about it too much, but I'll just keep my options open and enjoy the rest of my time there.
You're definitely taking your time.
I am.
Nice.
Well, on that note, I think we should wrap it up. I think we've heard a pretty great story for how you can move forward with a professional career and go back to school. And I mean, you seem like a very well-rounded person, a great student.
Thank you. Not sure about the great student part.
If you're still here and you're making it through the year, let's say, as long as you're passing.
Yeah. But yeah.
On the end of each episode, we ask our guests 3 questions. And it's always the same 3 questions. Let's start with the first one. Would you recommend a book to our viewers?
Yes, so there's this book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. I think I learned so much from reading that book in terms of how to interact with people and how to actually understand people, where people are coming from whenever they're trying to have a conversation with you or whenever they don't agree with you, and how to deal with all types of situations. So How to Influence People, it was a good book. I read it before I started working at JP Morgan, and actually I was able to resolve a lot of conflict as an analyst in my team using the concepts that I learned from that book. So I'll definitely encourage any student to go ahead and read that book too.
Okay, amazing. And in terms of, if you could pick a place to travel right now, where would you go?
Traveling. The thing is, it's
Haiti's off the map.
No, definitely. So a place that I haven't visited yet?
Potentially.
Yeah. I love traveling so much, but I'll tell you what Israel. Okay. I'll go to Israel. Okay. So I have to say why too?
Yeah.
It's just my entire school is going there, so we're all the first years are going there in May. So I'm definitely
very big startup hub.
Yeah. So we're visiting Israel, but I just do think that it's a great place to. So similar population as Haiti. They've done a lot in the past in terms of development. It's a great startup hub, and their economy is growing. And it's a lot to. So I think there's a lot to learn and see and understand from this place that can be replicated to my country where I'm from.
Very entrepreneurial.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So I do like to visit these countries where I can actually learn a lot from what they've done in the past that we can do back home to kind of have that type of to have that type of development back home.
It seems that you really want to give a lot back to Haiti, and you're very connected to it still. Do you think of coming back one day?
So I do think about it a lot. I'm not sure about the upcoming years after I graduate, but definitely on the long term, I do see myself in the Caribbean. It can be the entire Caribbean region. I can be living in Haiti, but I'll be operating and working a lot and doing business in the Caribbean region on the long term.
Mm-hmm. And the last question would be, if you have a person that you look up to a certain role model and someone maybe who influences your life?
Who influenced my life? I would say my brother, my big brother, my older brother. I think I look up to him a lot. The way he deals with different situations in life, the way I was able to look up to him when I was applying to college, coming here. I got better as a person by talking with him, and he's not the type of person who's gonna tell you to do X, Y, or Z. He just listens and gives me a lot of advice and help me get and grow as a person and become wiser in life. So I think I look up I look up to him a lot, and I think I'm gonna continue doing that for the rest of my life. It seems like he's the type. So when they say that you learn from your mentor, you learn from your profession and become better at it, but it seems like he never stops growing, in terms of intellectually. So I think I never stop learning from him.
To keep learning as well.
Yeah. So I think I look up a lot. I look up to him a lot, and I think I'm very fortunate to have him too.
Very
That's
nice.
wonderful.
Well, thank you very much for your time.
It was wonderful.
It was really wonderful.
Thank you.
All right.